guns. There's a guy that we arrested last year who did a shooting outside of Douglas High School. Y'all might remember the case. But we were able to link him back to 3 different shootings. I believe 1 was in Baltimore County and 2 were here in the city, at least 2 were here in the city. And he had a gun taken off of him each time. It was different guns that were used. And that is a great question. Don't know the answer to that precisely because they're coming from somewhere. And these guys who have no business having them are using them, and they're using them to harm people.
I'm glad Dennis asked that question because it's something that guns come from wherever they come from, and they all start out legally. But just like in Maryland, where certain gun shops or gun owners can't account for guns at the end of the year, if you have a legitimate dealer who has guns and they ought to register them just like they do cars every year, when you come back to that person, he got 5 guns that he cannot account for. If those guns sell for $500 on the street, he ought to be penalized $1,000 for every gun he can't find. So it won't be worth their while because those guns are legal, sold to these young people, and that's how they're getting them because somebody is selling them to them and making a profit off of them.
And sadly, we have to work within the confines of the laws that exist. And I told this story many years ago in Anne Arundel County, actually, to a group of people. And I was doing a bus tour, and I got on the bus and I said to him, I said, all right, I just got on this bus, and I don't really have a significant criminal history, been locked up for some misdemeanors. I have 50 bags of crack in my pocket. All right? I'm gonna take them out and throw them at you guys. What are y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna laugh at me. The police come on here, they're gonna arrest me. I'm gonna sit in jail for felony possession with intent to distribute narcotics. Might be 25 bags of crack. I'm gonna get on the same bus and I have a gun in my waistband and y'all all see it and y'all scared out of your mind because you don't know what I'm capable of doing. The simple possession of this handgun is a misdemeanor, and I'm going to get out of jail likely quicker than the guy who had the 50 bags of crack in his pocket. And that is what is killing people left and right in this city. And it's a misdemeanor to simply possess an illegal handgun. And the operative word is illegal. You legally own and register your gun, you're fine. But the person who, and that's not what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with people legally owning and using it for self-defense. We're dealing with criminals that own these guns and they possess them and they continuously get out of jail because it is a misdemeanor and it's not a whole lot of penalty associated with the crime that they commit, which is possessing that handgun illegally, which is has killed nearly 300 people in the city of Baltimore last year, 63% shot in the head with that gun. So the commissioner has made that part of his legislative agenda. He talked about it last year to try to push for it to be some sort of mandatory minimum penalty when you illegally possess a handgun, because that is what is harming our citizens. That is why we see balloons everywhere. That's why we see RIP t-shirts, and that's why we see hashtags on social media. It's because of illegally possessing handguns. Yes, sir.
I have a 2-part question specifically about the consent decree. What's the likelihood that the agreement could be amended? So now that it's been released to the public, let's say the groups and people of the community want certain parts of the agreement to go a step further, or doesn't think it fully addresses a certain issue, and they express those concerns to the mayor and the police commissioner. What's the likelihood that the agreement itself could be amended? And then the second part is in regards to the investigation that led up to the consent decree. It was proven that a lot of civil rights were violated. Is there anything in the consent decree that disciplines those officers or allow for those investigations to be reopened and to be reanalyzed?
All right, so answering the second part first. The consent decree findings, or I should say, the findings by the DOJ that did display some atrocities. Some of those situations resulted in officers not being on the agency any longer. And if you go back and remember, a lot of the stuff was in general and not necessarily specific. We weren't necessarily given the information as to who all of those officers were involved in some of those, because it is a problem if some of those instances took place and those officers still were on the police department. So that's been something that has been continued to be worked on. And again, not all of those situations resulted in officers staying. There are experiences that took place and something could have happened, but nonetheless, it still happened. So it doesn't minimize it, whether that officer no longer works for the BPD or not. The experience took place while that officer wore the uniform. So we were certainly aware of that. And your first question about the amendments, I know that there are some opportunities to have a further conversation to amend things, but to what extent, I don't know necessarily. But again, this is binding at this stage, and there might be opportunities to open it, especially if you start to make achievements in certain areas. But as far as if the community thinks it should go further, I'm not very sure of that.
Is there a pathway to reopen up those investigations? So let's say something happens to an individual and they say, I was treated mishandled, I was treated wrongly, and they did investigate it, but they closed it. Is there a pathway to reopen up investigations?
If there's any instance, and we're talking about criminal behavior, and that goes with on the street or within the police department, if there's evidence that can prove or disprove something, and that's presented, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes,
Does
sir.
that come through the Civil Rights Division when they dealt with Joe Cardinal?
If more information about a particular scenario, it can, I'm sure, go through that angle, or it could go through our Office of Professional Responsibility. And that's also something to go back and discuss. I mean, I've probably forgotten more things that have changed over the past year and a half than I remember. Office of Professional Responsibility, which now houses Internal Affairs, is under one roof, where it used to be spread out throughout the city, which again, the word that you're gonna hear me say is continuity. You can't have one area handling things this way and another one handling it this way, because that's how you can breed certain things and certain behaviors. So it all falls under one roof. So the Office of Professional Responsibility would be the proper avenue to go through. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? Baltimore County, Baltimore City, absolutely. Yes. If we have a need, we all the jurisdictions in the metro area work together. You might hear the commissioner mentioning the Big Seven, and that's Harford County, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Anne Arundel County, Howard County, Prince George's, Montgomery, and they're your big metropolis areas in the Maryland. And we all work together, all share resources if necessary. But each jurisdiction has their own problems, but we all absolutely work together. And if there's a need to work on a homicide case together, we absolutely would. No? Did you ask one yet?
Yeah, but I
All right.
have no pressing.
Go
First, go get it.
Well, I was just curious, because you said earlier that 63% of the headshot wounds, 63% of the wounds were headshot wounds. So was the Baltimore Police Department admitting to the fact that they set up here and was going to kill an individual most of the time? I mean, you said that it was
No, 63% of the murders that took place in Baltimore out of the 318 last year.
I
Yeah.
thought you said the police department.
No.
Okay, the consent decree relates only to what is going to be required of Baltimore City and with regard to its police department. Okay, because I'm a citizen and I just want to share this, and I think we're all aware of it. We're gonna continue to have some of this criminal behavior until we have a strong support systems for young people, for whomever, to get training, to get employment. If poverty and the lack of family support continues to happen, we're going to continue to have this. So to me, until we get those kinds of resources available constantly, I mean, we need to bombard the people with, there are opportunities to grow and learn as a human being. We don't have to be criminal. So to me, we need to get, that needs to be a consent decree too. So I don't know if I'm really in the right place.
And
I'm trying to hear what you're saying.
No, I
as it relates
understand
to
your
criminal
point.
behavior, but until we get create another kind of climate in Baltimore City for people of course we're gonna have the same thing.
Right. And to your point, you're absolutely right. So in my world, my piece of the government pie is the policing aspect, and we know
Right.
we have things that we have to get better at.
Okay.
But Mayor Pugh's come in super aggressive.
But this consent decree is only about Baltimore City's police
This is
department.
the police department, but ultimately everyone has a hand in it, because the success of Baltimore police and the consent decree will equal the success of other agencies. We have a problem, in housing here in Baltimore, of course.
Right.
The problems are far beyond just policing, and we know that. We all know that. And if you've paid attention to the mayor, her first, 30, 45 days, she's done a couple of bus tours with her cabinet out in the community. And that's putting all of the department heads in a bus, riding around the community. And I'm glad I'm not on that bus, because I know they're being held to, what are you gonna do about this right now? What are you gonna do about this? How are y'all working together to solve this problem? And I think maybe for far too long, it's been a scenario of each individual agency doing what they're responsible for. But a community that has I've been to, murder scenes and shooting scenes, and you get in some of these desolate neighborhoods where there's no lights, it's more boarded up vacant homes and trash. What do you expect? What do you expect to happen there? So those are the bigger conversations that are actually going on that aren't a part of this document. They aren't a part of the 267
Those
pages.
conversations are going on where?
But those conversations are happening at City Hall for sure. I
Okay.
know. And again, it's not, we're talking about trash and vacant homes. Police commissioner, you don't have to come. No, you need to be at this table as well, with the health commissioner, with, Department of Transportation. So you'll see some more exciting things coming as far as plans to address that collectively. And we have a stake in that as well, because it's all symptoms of the bigger problem. Of course, we can't, do anything to continue to drive down the crime rate if other parts of our city are gonna fail and the infrastructure is gonna fail.
Let's take two more questions and we're out of time.
If there are two more
If there
questions.
are.
Yeah. Well, seeing none,
No. I'm very happy with the consent decree, and it's wonderful, and you see action taken on it. As long as that's the critical phase, that as long as action is taken, you have seen it, and a lot of things you said about the police interaction in the community, but all of us have to interact within the community. So I don't have any issue, but as we also know, my concern with we were talking about black colleges and universities, and that was a consent decree, and of course, we know where that went to. As long as we are moving forward with it, and it looks like, I'm gonna tell you, it looks like the Baltimore City Police is moving forward.
we have to. And we want to. And, I'll talk about this commissioner for a minute. I took a big career risk coming to Baltimore from Anne Arundel County. And I did that because I believed in him, and I've watched him work, and I know where his heart is. I sometimes think it's crazy because he works from sun up to sundown, and he doesn't mind calling me at any hour of the night because he might have an idea or whatever. But I know how much it means to him. And you can look at it from whatever way you want to. But let's just look at it from a simple personal ego thing. If things get better in Baltimore, which they will, we're going to be a model for the rest of the country, guaranteed, because we've been in the spotlight. It's going to get better, and we all have to get better. We can't want any of us to fail, because that's all about failure. There are other police departments going through the same thing, but not as many in an area like Baltimore. So you're going to see Chicago and Baltimore on the map over the next several years. And the changes that have taken place, seismic shift changes that have taken place when